What if the biggest thing holding you back is the belief that someone is coming to change your life for you? The truth is simple. Most people spend years waiting for motivation, support, recognition, or the perfect opportunity. Meanwhile, time keeps moving. The days feel the same. The goals stay unfinished. The frustration grows. This audiobook is not about luck, talent, or quick success. It is about taking control of your life through responsibility, discipline, resilience, and relentless effort. You will discover why excuses keep people stuck, how to stay focused when progress feels slow, how to build mental strength during hard times, and why the work you do when nobody notices can completely change your future. If you are tired of waiting, tired of falling behind, and ready to become stronger, more focused, and more disciplined, stay until the end. The lessons ahead can change the way you think, work, and live. Chapter 1. Accept reality and stop waiting for rescue. Most people spend years waiting for something that never comes. They wait for the perfect opportunity. They wait for motivation. They wait for support. They wait for someone to recognize their potential. They wait for a lucky break that will finally change everything. While they wait, life keeps moving. Days become weeks. Weeks become years. Nothing changes because they are still expecting someone or something outside themselves to solve their problems. One of the hardest truths to accept is that nobody is coming to rescue you. This is not a negative idea. It is one of the most freeing ideas you can ever understand. The moment you stop expecting rescue, you start discovering your real strength. You stop wasting energy on hope without action. You stop looking around for someone to save your future. You begin building that future yourself. Many people struggle because they secretly believe someone will eventually make things easier. They believe a friend will open a door. They believe a boss will finally notice their effort. They believe their family will suddenly understand their dreams. They believe circumstances will improve on their own. Sometimes those things happen. Most of the time they do not. Reality does not reward wishes. Reality rewards action. Life does not care about your intentions. Life responds to your behavior. This may sound harsh at first, but look closely. The people who create meaningful success are rarely the people who had perfect circumstances. They are the people who accepted reality and worked with what they had. Every successful person faces obstacles. Every successful person experiences disappointment. Every successful person encounters moments when nobody believes in them. The difference is not talent. The difference is their response. They accept what is happening and then ask a powerful question. What can I do right now? That question changes everything. Instead of focusing on what is unfair, they focus on what is possible. Instead of complaining about limitations, they search for solutions. Instead of waiting for permission, they begin taking responsibility. Responsibility is often misunderstood. Many people think responsibility means blame. It does not. Responsibility means ownership. If your life is not where you want it to be, then ownership means asking yourself what actions you can take today to move forward. You may not be responsible for everything that happened to you. You may have experienced unfair treatment. You may have faced setbacks. You may have been disappointed by people you trusted. You may have encountered challenges you never deserved. But you are responsible for what happens next. That responsibility gives you power. Without responsibility, you become a victim of circumstances. With responsibility, you become the author of your future. Imagine two people facing the same problem. The first person spends months blaming others. They explain why their situation is difficult. They point out every obstacle. They talk endlessly about what should be different. The second person acknowledges the difficulty, but immediately begins looking for solutions. They study, they practice, they improve, they adapt. A year later, their lives look completely different. Not because one person had fewer problems, because one person chose ownership. Reality does not become easier when you ignore it. Reality becomes easier when you face it directly. Many people avoid reality because it feels uncomfortable. They avoid looking at their finances because they fear what they will discover. They avoid stepping on a scale because they fear the number. They avoid difficult conversations because they fear conflict. They avoid pursuing goals because they fear failure. Avoidance creates temporary comfort but long-term pain. Facing reality creates temporary discomfort but long-term growth. The truth may sting for a moment, but denial damages you for years. If your finances are struggling, then face the numbers. If your health is declining, then face the facts. If your habits are hurting your future, then acknowledge them honestly. If your relationships are suffering, then stop pretending everything is fine. Truth is the starting point of improvement. You cannot improve a problem you refuse to acknowledge. Many people dream about becoming stronger, but few are willing to face the reality required to become strong. Strength begins with honesty. Honesty about your habits. Honesty about your excuses. Honesty about your effort. Honesty about your priorities. The mirror does not lie. Results do not lie. If you consistently avoid work, your results will show it. If you consistently improve your skills, your results will show it. If you consistently waste time, your results will show it. Reality always reveals the truth eventually. That is why accepting reality is not weakness. It is courage. It takes courage to admit where you are. It takes courage to stop making excuses. It takes courage to accept responsibility. But that courage creates freedom. Many people spend years trapped because they refuse to acknowledge what is obvious. They know they need to change. They know they need discipline. They know they need better habits. Yet they continue searching for shortcuts. They continue hoping for easy answers. They continue waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you will feel motivated. Many days you will not. If your progress depends on motivation, then your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline is different. Discipline acts regardless of mood. Discipline shows up when excitement disappears. Discipline works when nobody is watching. Discipline continues when progress feels slow. The people who achieve remarkable results are not always the most motivated. They are often the most consistent. Consistency beats intensity. A person who works steadily every day will eventually outperform someone who only acts when they feel inspired. Think about how many hours people spend waiting to feel ready. They wait to start exercising. They wait to start learning. They wait to start saving money. They wait to start pursuing goals. Months pass, years pass, nothing changes. Readiness often comes after action, not before it. Confidence grows through action. Clarity grows through action. Strength grows through action. You do not think your way into confidence. You act your way into confidence. The first step is rarely comfortable. The first workout feels difficult. The first speech feels awkward. The first attempt feels uncertain. That is normal. Growth often feels uncomfortable because you are becoming someone new. Comfort and growth rarely exist in the same place. The sooner you accept this reality, the faster your life begins to change. Many people expect progress to feel good all the time. It does not. Some days progress feels exciting. Other days progress feels boring. Other days it feels exhausting. The people who succeed understand this. They stop expecting every day to be easy. They stop expecting constant excitement. They understand that meaningful achievement requires persistence. Persistence is powerful because it separates dreamers from doers. Everyone has dreams. Far fewer people take consistent action. Dreams are common. Execution is rare. This is why so many people remain stuck. They spend years talking about what they want, but very little time building it. Talking creates the illusion of progress. Action creates actual progress. The world responds to action, not intentions, not wishes, not promises. Action. If you truly want a different future, then your daily behavior must change. A better future is built through better actions repeated consistently. Nothing magical happens. There is no secret shortcut. There is no hidden formula. The process is simple. Accept reality. Take responsibility. Do the work. Repeat. That process may sound ordinary, but it produces extraordinary results over time. Every skill is built through repetition. Every strong body is built through repetition. Every successful career is built through repetition. Every meaningful life is built through repetition. Small actions performed consistently become powerful outcomes. Many people underestimate the power of daily improvement because the results are not immediately visible. A single workout may not transform your body. A single page may not transform your knowledge. A single productive day may not transform your career. But repeated consistently, these actions become life-changing. Success is rarely created in one dramatic moment. It is usually created through thousands of small decisions. The decision to wake up on time, the decision to study, the decision to practice, the decision to stay focused, the decision to continue despite difficulty. These decisions appear small. Over time, they become your destiny. Nobody can make those decisions for you. Nobody can do your work. Nobody can build your discipline. Nobody can create your future. Others can support you. Others can encourage you. Others can guide you. But the responsibility remains yours. That realization can feel heavy at first. Then it becomes empowering. Because if nobody is coming to rescue you, then you no longer need permission. You no longer need perfect conditions. You no longer need guarantees. You can begin today. You can take action today. You can improve today. You can build momentum today. The moment you stop waiting, your life begins moving forward. The moment you stop expecting rescue, you start discovering capability you never knew existed. Human beings are far stronger than they realize. Most people simply never test their strength because they spend too much time waiting for confidence, waiting for certainty, waiting for approval, waiting for easier circumstances. The strongest people are not those who never struggle. They are the people who continue despite struggle. They face reality directly. They accept responsibility fully. They commit to action daily. And over time, they become difficult to stop. Not because life became easy, because they became stronger. The truth is simple. Nobody cares about your goals as much as you do. Nobody thinks about your future as much as you do. Nobody carries your responsibilities as deeply as you do. That is not something to fear. That is something to embrace, because your future remains in your hands. Every day presents a choice. You can continue waiting, or you can begin building. You can continue hoping, or you can begin acting. You can continue making excuses, or you can accept reality and move forward. The decision belongs to you. The opportunity belongs to you. The responsibility belongs to you. And so does the reward. Accept reality exactly as it is. Stop waiting for rescue. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for someone else to solve your problems. Stand up. Face the truth. Take ownership. Do the work. Continue when it is difficult. Continue when nobody notices. Continue when progress feels slow. Continue because your future depends on it. The day you fully accept responsibility is the day your transformation truly begins. That day can be today. Chapter 2. Take full responsibility for every daily action. There is a moment in every person's life when excuses begin to lose their power. It is the moment when they stop looking outside themselves for answers and start looking inward. It is the moment when they understand that their future is shaped not by luck or circumstances alone, but by the decisions they make every single day. Many people want a better life. They want better health. They want more success. They want stronger relationships. They want greater confidence. Yet wanting something and creating something are completely different things. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be is responsibility. Responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is not something that should feel heavy or unfair. It is one of the greatest gifts a person can embrace because it places control back into their own hands. When people avoid responsibility, they often give away their power without realizing it. They blame their environment. They blame their past. They blame difficult people. They blame bad timing. They blame a lack of opportunities. While some of these factors can certainly create challenges, they do not determine the entire direction of a person's life. Every day presents choices. Some choices are small. Some choices seem insignificant. Yet those small choices quietly build the life you experience. The choice to wake up when the alarm rings. The choice to keep a promise to yourself. The choice to learn instead of scroll endlessly. The choice to exercise when you would rather stay comfortable. The choice to remain calm during frustration. The choice to speak honestly. The choice to prepare instead of procrastinate. These decisions may appear ordinary, but they shape your character far more than dramatic moments ever will. Character is built in private. It is built when nobody is watching. It is built when there is no applause. It is built through repeated actions that align with your values. A person does not suddenly become disciplined. A person becomes disciplined by practicing discipline repeatedly. A person does not suddenly become trustworthy. A person becomes trustworthy by honoring commitments consistently. A person does not suddenly become confident. Confidence grows from evidence. It grows when you repeatedly prove to yourself that you can follow through. One reason many people struggle with progress is because they focus heavily on outcomes while ignoring daily behavior. They dream about becoming successful. They imagine achieving goals. They think about future rewards. Yet they rarely examine how they spend their hours. Success is not created by occasional effort. Success is created by patterns. Patterns create habits. Habits create results. Results create the life you experience. If you want to understand the direction of your future, then pay attention to your daily routine. Your routine reveals what you truly value. Many people say they value growth, but spend little time learning. Many people say they value health, but neglect basic self-care. Many people say they value achievement, but delay important work. There is often a gap between intention and action. Responsibility means closing that gap. It means aligning behavior with purpose. It means making choices that support your future rather than undermine it. This process requires honesty, not harsh self-criticism, not guilt, not shame. Honesty. Honesty allows you to identify where improvement is needed. A person who refuses to acknowledge weaknesses cannot strengthen them. A person who ignores harmful habits cannot replace them. A person who avoids self-examination remains stuck in the same cycle. Growth begins when awareness meets action. Consider how many people spend years repeating the same mistakes. They know what needs to change. They know what actions would improve their lives. Yet knowledge alone changes nothing. Information is only valuable when it becomes behavior. Reading about discipline is not discipline. Talking about goals is not progress. Planning is not execution. The real transformation occurs when ideas become actions. This is why responsibility must extend beyond thoughts and intentions. It must reach your behavior. Every day offers opportunities to demonstrate responsibility. Perhaps you promised yourself that you would wake up earlier. Perhaps you committed to exercising regularly. Perhaps you decided to improve your finances. Perhaps you wanted to learn a valuable skill. The question is not whether these goals are important. The question is whether your actions support them. Your future responds to what you do repeatedly. It does not respond to wishes. It does not respond to good intentions alone. It responds to consistent behavior. This realization can be uncomfortable because it removes many excuses. Yet it is also empowering because it reminds you that meaningful change remains possible, even if yesterday was unproductive, even if last month was disappointing, even if previous years were filled with mistakes. Today offers a fresh opportunity. Every sunrise creates a new chance to choose differently, a new chance to think differently, a new chance to act differently, a new chance to move closer to the person you want to become. The past can teach lessons, but it cannot control today's decisions unless you allow it. Too many people carry old failures into new opportunities. They convince themselves that because they struggled before, they will struggle forever. This belief creates unnecessary limits. Human beings possess an extraordinary ability to adapt. People learn new skills. People rebuild after setbacks. People recover from mistakes. People change habits. People transform their lives. These changes do not happen overnight. They happen through daily action. One responsible choice at a time. One disciplined decision at a time. One productive hour at a time. A powerful practice is to review your day honestly before going to sleep. Ask yourself simple questions. Did my actions reflect my priorities today? Did I use my time wisely? Did I keep promises made to myself? Did I contribute something meaningful? Did I improve in any way? These questions create awareness. Awareness creates accountability. Accountability creates growth. The goal is not perfection. Perfection is unrealistic. The goal is progress. Progress occurs when each day contains deliberate effort. Even small improvements matter. Reading a few pages matters. Completing a workout matters. Saving a small amount of money matters. Practicing a skill matters. Having a difficult conversation matters. These actions may seem minor in isolation. Over time, they become significant. Years from now, your life will largely reflect the choices you make repeatedly. That truth should encourage you, because it means extraordinary results often come from ordinary actions performed consistently. There is another aspect of responsibility that many people overlook. It involves emotional responsibility. You cannot always control what happens around you. You cannot control every challenge. You cannot control the behavior of other people. You cannot control unexpected setbacks. You can control your response. You can control how you think. You can control how you speak. You can control how you behave. This level of control is more powerful than many realize. A calm response can prevent unnecessary conflict. A thoughtful decision can prevent future regret. A disciplined reaction can preserve momentum during difficult times. Strong individuals understand that emotional reactions carry consequences. They do not allow temporary feelings to dictate permanent decisions. They pause. They reflect. They choose their response carefully. This ability strengthens every area of life. Responsibility also requires courage. It takes courage to admit mistakes. It takes courage to acknowledge weaknesses. It takes courage to accept feedback. It takes courage to make changes. Many people protect their pride by avoiding responsibility. Unfortunately, that protection often prevents growth. The strongest individuals are willing to admit when they are wrong. They understand that correction creates improvement. They view mistakes as information rather than identity. A mistake is something you did. It is not who you are. When you separate your identity from your errors, you become more willing to learn. You become more adaptable. You become more resilient. Life rewards those who continue improving, not those who pretend to already know everything. The path forward is simple, although not always easy. Take ownership of your mornings. Take ownership of your habits. Take ownership of your attitude. Take ownership of your effort. Take ownership of your decisions. Take ownership of your future. No one else can do these things for you. No one else can build your character. No one else can develop your discipline. No one else can create your habits. Those responsibilities belong to you, and that is good news, because it means your future remains within your influence. Every day you hold a pen that writes another page of your story. Every choice adds another sentence. Every action adds another paragraph. The direction of that story depends largely on what you choose to do next. Take full responsibility for every daily action, not because life is fair, not because success is guaranteed, not because the journey will always be easy. Take responsibility because it is the fastest path to personal freedom. The moment you stop waiting for circumstances to change and start changing yourself is the moment real progress begins. Your habits become stronger. Your confidence becomes deeper. Your character becomes more reliable. Your future becomes brighter. One responsible decision may seem small today, but repeated over months and years, it becomes a powerful force. A force capable of transforming your health, transforming your finances, transforming your relationships, transforming your mindset, transforming your entire life. And it all begins with a simple commitment. Own your choices, own your actions, own your standards, own your future. Then show up tomorrow and do it again. Chapter 3. Build relentless discipline through consistent daily effort. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people picture it as something harsh. They imagine constant pressure, endless sacrifice, or a life with no enjoyment. Because of this misunderstanding, they resist developing it. They chase easier paths. They search for techniques that promise quick results. They hope there is a way to achieve meaningful success without demanding much from themselves. Sooner or later, reality teaches a different lesson. The people who consistently move forward in life are not always the smartest. They are not always the most talented. They are not always the most fortunate. Very often, they are simply the people who learned how to keep going when others stopped. That ability comes from discipline. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to suffer. It is about training yourself to do what matters whether you feel like it or not. Feelings change constantly. Some mornings you wake up energized. Some mornings you wake up tired. Some days you feel confident. Some days you feel uncertain. Some days work feels exciting. Other days it feels repetitive. A person who only acts when conditions feel perfect will never build lasting momentum. Life simply does not provide perfect conditions often enough. This is why discipline becomes one of the most valuable qualities a person can develop. It creates stability when emotions fluctuate. It creates movement when motivation disappears. It creates progress during ordinary days that most people waste. Many people underestimate the power of ordinary days. They believe success is built during dramatic moments. They think major achievements come from sudden breakthroughs. They imagine transformation arriving all at once. The truth is far less glamorous and far more useful. Most growth happens quietly. It happens on mornings when nobody notices your effort. It happens when you complete tasks without recognition. It happens when you choose productive actions over comfortable distractions. It happens through consistency. Consistency may seem boring at first, yet it is one of the most powerful forces available to any human being. Imagine two people beginning the same journey. One person works intensely for a few days and then loses focus. The other person works steadily each day without interruption. Months later, the difference becomes obvious. The steady person has accumulated knowledge. They have built skills. They have created habits. They have gained confidence through repeated execution. The first person may have experienced moments of enthusiasm, but enthusiasm alone rarely produces lasting results. Progress favors consistency. The challenge is that consistency requires patience. Modern life encourages impatience. People want immediate improvement. They want immediate rewards. They want immediate evidence that their effort is working. Unfortunately, meaningful development rarely operates that way. Many worthwhile outcomes arrive later than expected. A stronger body takes time. A valuable skill takes time. Financial growth takes time. Professional mastery takes time. Personal transformation takes time. The process often feels slow while it is happening. This is where discipline becomes essential. Discipline allows you to continue investing effort before visible rewards appear. Think about planting a seed. For a period of time, nothing seems to happen above the surface. Yet, important development is taking place underneath. Human growth follows a similar pattern. You may not immediately notice the effects of reading every day. You may not immediately notice the benefits of exercising regularly. You may not immediately see the rewards of practicing a skill. Yet each repetition is creating change. Each repetition is strengthening something within you. Many people quit because they judge progress too early. They mistake slow growth for no growth. They expect dramatic results after minimal effort. When reality fails to match their expectations, they abandon the process. Disciplined people think differently. They understand that results are delayed. They trust the process long enough for improvement to become visible. This trust is not blind optimism. It is based on understanding how progress actually works. Every worthwhile achievement requires accumulation. Knowledge accumulates, strength accumulates, experience accumulates, confidence accumulates. Small actions repeated often become powerful advantages. One useful way to build discipline is to reduce the importance of mood. Mood is unreliable. Behavior is measurable. Instead of asking whether you feel motivated, ask whether the action needs to be done. This simple shift creates remarkable results. When responsibilities are tied to mood, they become inconsistent. When responsibilities are tied to standards, they become dependable. Standards create structure. Structure creates consistency. Consistency creates progress. Many successful individuals rely heavily on routines. This is not because they enjoy repetition for its own sake. It is because routines remove unnecessary decisions. Every decision consumes energy. When important activities become automatic, there is less opportunity for hesitation. A person who schedules exercise at the same time each day spends less energy debating whether to exercise. A person who sets aside time for learning each evening spends less energy deciding when to learn. Clear routines reduce friction. Reduced friction increases execution. Execution drives results. Another important aspect of discipline involves honoring commitments made to yourself. Most people understand the importance of keeping promises to others. Far fewer recognize the importance of keeping promises to themselves. Consider what happens when you repeatedly break personal commitments. You decide to start a habit. You quit after a few days. You set a goal. You abandon it quickly. You create a plan. You ignore it repeatedly. Over time, trust in yourself weakens. You begin doubting your own words. You become less confident in your ability to follow through. The opposite is also true. Every time you honor a commitment, you strengthen self-respect. Every completed task becomes evidence. Every finished responsibility reinforces credibility. you begin seeing yourself as someone who follows through. That identity becomes extremely valuable because behavior often follows identity. People act according to who they believe they are. If you see yourself as unreliable, you will often behave accordingly. If you see yourself as disciplined, you become more likely to maintain disciplined actions. Identity is shaped through evidence. Evidence is created through daily behavior. This is why small victories matter. Many people dismiss small victories because they appear insignificant. They focus only on major accomplishments. Yet major accomplishments are usually built upon hundreds of smaller successes. Finishing a workout matters. Completing a reading session matters. Keeping a promise matters. Waking up on time matters. Organizing your environment matters. Each action strengthens discipline. Each action reinforces positive identity. There will be days when discipline feels difficult. No strategy eliminates challenge entirely. Stressful periods arrive. Unexpected problems appear. Energy levels fluctuate. External pressures increase. During these moments, it becomes important to focus on maintaining momentum rather than pursuing perfection. Perfection creates unnecessary pressure. Progress creates forward movement. A difficult day does not require flawless execution. It requires continued effort. Even a reduced effort can preserve momentum. Reading a few pages is better than reading nothing. Completing a shorter workout is better than skipping entirely. Making partial progress is better than abandoning the process. Momentum has tremendous value. Once momentum disappears, restarting often becomes harder than continuing. Protecting momentum should become a priority. Discipline also grows through environmental design. Your surroundings influence behavior more than many people realize. An organized environment supports focused action. A cluttered environment often encourages distraction. A productive workspace supports concentration. An environment filled with interruptions makes discipline harder. Rather than relying solely on willpower, improve your environment. Remove unnecessary distractions. Prepare tools in advance. Create spaces that support productive habits. Make positive actions easier to begin. Make negative habits harder to access. These small adjustments create powerful advantages over time. Another lesson worth understanding is that discipline and freedom are connected. At first, this idea may seem strange. Many people assume discipline restricts freedom. The opposite is often true. Financial discipline creates greater financial options. Health discipline creates greater physical capability. Learning discipline creates greater opportunities. Emotional discipline creates greater peace of mind. Without discipline, life becomes controlled by impulses. With discipline, life becomes guided by intention. One path leads to short-term comfort. The other path leads to long-term fulfillment. Disciplined people are not perfect. They make mistakes. They experience setbacks. They encounter obstacles. The difference is that they recover quickly. They do not allow temporary failures to become permanent patterns. They return to the process. They return to the habit. They return to the standard. This ability to resume action is often more important than avoiding mistakes entirely. Every meaningful journey includes challenges. Every worthwhile goal includes difficult periods. Every growth process includes moments of doubt. What matters is continuing despite those moments. A disciplined person understands that feelings are temporary. Difficult days pass. Frustration passes. Fatigue passes. Uncertainty passes. The habit remains. The commitment remains. The mission remains. This perspective creates resilience. Resilience creates endurance. Endurance creates results. Years from now, people may look at someone's success and assume it happened naturally. They may assume talent explains everything. They may assume luck played the largest role. What they rarely see are the thousands of ordinary choices made behind the scenes. The early mornings, the focused hours, the repeated practice, the the disciplined decisions, the consistent effort. These invisible actions create visible outcomes. That is the true power of relentless discipline. It is not dramatic. It is not flashy. It does not demand attention. It quietly transforms potential into achievement, day after day, choice after choice, effort after effort. Until one day, the person you once hoped to become starts looking back at you from the mirror. Not because of a single breakthrough, not because of a lucky opportunity, but because you showed up consistently when it mattered most. And in the end, that is what discipline really is, a commitment to continue doing what serves your future, regardless of temporary emotions. A commitment to steady effort, regardless of immediate rewards. A commitment to becoming stronger through repeated action. Maintain that commitment long enough, and remarkable change becomes unavoidable. The results may arrive gradually. The transformation may happen quietly, but it will happen. Because consistent daily effort has a way of accomplishing what occasional intensity never can. Chapter 4. Eliminate excuses and focus on productive work. One of the biggest differences between people who continually move forward and people who remain stuck is not intelligence. It is not education. It is not background. It is not even opportunity. The difference is often much simpler. Some people spend their energy explaining why something cannot be done, while others spend their energy finding a way to get it done. Excuses are attractive because they provide immediate relief. They protect the ego from discomfort. They create a temporary feeling of justification. They allow a person to avoid confronting difficult truths. The problem is that excuses may comfort you today while quietly limiting your future. Every excuse carries a hidden cost. When someone says they do not have enough time, they often stop searching for ways to use their hours more effectively. When someone says they are too tired, they stop exploring habits that could improve their energy. When someone says conditions are not right, they postpone action indefinitely. The excuse feels reasonable. The consequence arrives later. Months pass, years pass, progress remains absent. Life rarely changes because explanations alone create nothing. Results come from productive work. The world rewards contribution. It rewards effort applied toward meaningful action. It rewards people who solve problems. It rewards people who create value. It rewards people who continue moving despite obstacles. This does not mean obstacles are imaginary. Challenges are real. Difficult circumstances exist. Unexpected setbacks happen. Some people begin with advantages while others face serious disadvantages. Acknowledging these realities is important. Allowing them to become permanent barriers is something entirely different. Many individuals fall into a habit of focusing more attention on obstacles than solutions. Over time, this becomes a mindset. Instead of asking how something can be accomplished, they immediately search for reasons it cannot. Instead of identifying available resources, they focus on missing resources. Instead of exploring options, they focus on limitations. This habit weakens initiative. It reduces creativity. It lowers confidence. Most importantly, it prevents action. Action remains the foundation of improvement. Without action, knowledge remains unused. Without action, plans remain unfinished. Without action, goals remain distant ideas. Productive work is what transforms possibility into reality. The challenge is that productive work often feels less appealing than distraction. Distraction offers immediate pleasure. Productive work often offers delayed rewards. The human mind naturally gravitates toward what feels easier in the present moment. This tendency explains why many people struggle to maintain focus. A task that could improve their future competes against endless sources of entertainment. A meaningful project competes against convenience. A long-term objective competes against short-term comfort. Winning this battle requires awareness. You must learn to recognize the moments when excuses attempt to take control. Excuses rarely announce themselves openly. They often appear reasonable. They arrive disguised as logic. A person may tell themselves they will begin tomorrow. They may convince themselves they need more preparation. They may decide to wait for a better mood. They may believe they need ideal conditions before starting. Each explanation sounds harmless. Yet these explanations frequently delay progress. The opportunity to improve exists in the present. Tomorrow remains uncertain. The most effective response is simple. Begin before everything feels perfect. Perfect conditions rarely exist. Every meaningful achievement contains uncertainty. Every worthwhile project begins before all questions are answered. Every successful person eventually reaches a point where preparation ends and execution begins. There is another reason excuses become dangerous. They slowly reduce personal standards. When people repeatedly justify inaction, they lower expectations for themselves. They become comfortable with postponement. They become familiar with unfinished goals. They accept inconsistency as normal. This process happens gradually. Few people notice it while it is occurring. Yet the effects accumulate. A person who consistently accepts excuses eventually develops a habit of avoidance. Avoidance becomes a pattern. Patterns become identity. Identity influences behavior. Fortunately, the opposite process works as well. When you repeatedly choose action over excuses, you strengthen trust in yourself. Each completed task reinforces self-respect. Each productive day builds confidence. Each promise kept strengthens character. These small victories compound over time. Productive individuals understand something important. Not every task deserves equal attention. Being busy and being productive are not the same thing. Many people spend entire days occupied with activity while accomplishing very little. They respond to minor requests. They switch constantly between tasks. They spend hours reacting to distractions. At the end of the day, they feel exhausted yet struggle to identify meaningful progress. Productive work requires intention. It requires selecting activities that create the greatest impact. A useful question can guide daily decisions. What is the most valuable thing I can do right now? This question brings clarity. It cuts through unnecessary complexity. It directs attention toward meaningful action. Often the answer is not exciting. Sometimes the most valuable task is also the most difficult. Sometimes it requires concentration. Sometimes it requires patience. Sometimes it requires effort without immediate rewards. Those are often the tasks worth prioritizing. Growth frequently hides inside responsibilities that others avoid. A difficult conversation may improve a relationship. Learning a challenging skill may expand opportunities. Completing demanding work may advance a career. Addressing neglected problems may create peace of mind. These activities require courage because they involve discomfort. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. Many times it is a signal that something important is happening. The ability to remain productive despite discomfort separates high performers from average performers. Most people act according to convenience. Highly productive individuals act according to purpose. Purpose creates direction. Direction creates focus. Focus increases effectiveness. Effectiveness produces results. Another obstacle to productive work is the habit of overthinking. Some individuals spend enormous amounts of time analyzing possibilities. They evaluate options endlessly. They imagine every potential outcome. They search for certainty. Unfortunately, certainty rarely arrives. Life contains risk. Every meaningful decision involves unknowns. Excessive analysis often becomes another form of delay. Action creates information. Action reveals strengths. Action exposes weaknesses. Action provides feedback. Without action, progress remains theoretical. A simple approach can prevent overthinking. When facing an important task, focus on the next step rather than the entire journey. Large goals often appear intimidating. A single step appears manageable. A book begins with one page. A business begins with one customer. A skill begins with one practice session. A healthier lifestyle begins with one decision. Small actions create movement. Movement generates momentum. Momentum makes future actions easier. Productive work also requires protecting attention. Attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Where attention goes, effort follows. Where effort follows, results emerge. Modern life constantly competes for attention. Notifications interrupt concentration. Entertainment demands engagement. Information floods every moment. Without deliberate control, attention becomes fragmented. Fragmented attention weakens performance. Deep focus strengthens performance. Consider creating periods where distractions are removed. Silence unnecessary notifications. Keep your workspace organized. Dedicate specific blocks of time to important tasks. These practices may appear simple. Their impact can be substantial. Many remarkable accomplishments result from sustained concentration applied consistently. The ability to focus is becoming increasingly valuable because it is increasingly rare. Another important principle involves finishing what you start. Starting creates excitement. Finishing creates results. Many people enjoy beginnings. Few people enjoy the repetitive effort required to complete projects. As a result, unfinished tasks accumulate. Unfinished projects drain energy. They occupy mental space. They create frustration. Completion creates relief. Completion creates momentum. Completion builds confidence. Developing a habit of finishing strengthens reliability. You begin viewing yourself as someone who follows through. This identity influences future behavior. The more evidence you collect that you can complete important work, the stronger your confidence becomes. There will be moments when productivity feels difficult. Mental fatigue appears. Unexpected problems emerge. Progress slows. During these periods, remember an important truth. You do not need perfect performance. You need continued movement. A small, productive action still creates value. One useful hour still matters. One completed task still matters. One meaningful improvement still matters. The goal is not flawless execution. The goal is consistent advancement. Over long periods, consistency produces remarkable outcomes. Many people underestimate what can be accomplished over several years of focused effort. Skills improve, knowledge expands, opportunities increase, confidence strengthens, character deepens. The person who works productively day after day gradually creates advantages that become impossible to ignore. Success often appears sudden to outside observers. In reality, it is usually the result of countless productive hours accumulated quietly over time. Hours spent learning, hours spent practicing, hours spent improving systems, hours spent solving problems, hours spent doing work others avoided. Those hours eventually produce visible results. At that point, people often notice the outcome while overlooking the process that created it. The process is where transformation occurs. It occurs every time you reject an excuse. It occurs every time you choose responsibility over avoidance. It occurs every time you direct your energy toward meaningful work. The future you want will not be built through intentions alone. It will be built through focused effort applied consistently. The choice appears daily. One path offers comfort and delay. The other offers effort and growth. The first path feels easier in the moment. The second path creates a better future. Choose productive work. Choose meaningful action. Choose progress over explanation. Choose execution over hesitation. Because every hour invested wisely becomes a building block for the life you are creating. And the more often you choose action instead of excuses, the stronger you become, not only in skill or achievement, but in character. And strong character remains one of the greatest advantages a person can possess. Chapter 5. Develop mental toughness during difficult challenges. Life has a way of testing every person. No matter how intelligent you are, how prepared you are, or how carefully you plan, there will be moments when circumstances do not cooperate. There will be setbacks that arrive without warning. There will be disappointments that leave you questioning your direction. There will be seasons when progress slows, pressure increases, and uncertainty seems to surround every decision. These moments reveal something important. They reveal the strength of your mind. Many people believe mental toughness is something people are born with. They assume certain individuals naturally possess extraordinary resilience, while others do not. The truth is far more encouraging. Mental toughness is developed. It is built through experience. It grows through practice. It becomes stronger each time you choose a productive response during difficult circumstances. Just as muscles develop through resistance, character develops through challenge. Without challenge, there is little reason to grow. Without difficulty, there is little opportunity to discover what you are truly capable of handling. This does not mean you should seek suffering. It means that when difficulty arrives, you can choose to use it as a source of growth instead of allowing it to become a source of defeat. One of the first lessons in mental toughness is learning to separate events from reactions. Many people assume circumstances determine how they feel. In reality, circumstances influence emotions, but reactions play a powerful role as well. Two people can experience the same setback and respond very differently. One person becomes overwhelmed, the other remains focused. One person becomes consumed by frustration, the other begins searching for solutions. One person sees the challenge as proof that success is impossible. The other sees the challenge as part of the process. The event may be identical. The response creates a completely different outcome. This understanding provides a tremendous advantage. It reminds you that while you cannot control everything that happens around you, you still possess influence over how you respond. That influence becomes especially important during difficult seasons. When life becomes uncomfortable, the mind often begins creating stories. It tells you that the situation is hopeless. It suggests that progress is impossible. It magnifies obstacles. It predicts failure before failure has occurred. If these thoughts go unchallenged, they begin shaping behavior. Mental toughness requires questioning those thoughts. Not every thought deserves your trust. Not every fear deserves your attention. Not every worry deserves your energy. Learning to observe thoughts without automatically believing them is a powerful skill. A setback does not automatically mean you are failing. A mistake does not automatically mean you are incapable. A difficult season does not automatically mean things will remain difficult forever. Temporary challenges often feel permanent when you are experiencing them. With time and perspective, many of those challenges appear very different. Think about obstacles you faced years ago. At the time, they may have seemed overwhelming, yet you survived them, you adapted, you learned, you moved forward. The same ability exists within you today. Another important aspect of mental toughness is emotional control. Strong people experience emotions just like everyone else. They feel disappointment, they feel frustration, they feel fear, they feel uncertainty. The difference is that they do not allow those emotions to take complete control of their decisions. Emotions provide information. They should not always provide direction. Someone may feel nervous before an important opportunity. That feeling does not mean they should avoid the opportunity. Someone may feel uncomfortable while learning a new skill. That discomfort does not mean they should stop learning. Someone may feel discouraged after a setback. That discouragement does not mean they should abandon their goal. Mental toughness involves acting according to values rather than temporary emotional states. This ability becomes increasingly valuable as challenges become more demanding. Another characteristic of resilient individuals is perspective. When difficulties arise, they avoid making the situation larger than it actually is. Many people take a temporary problem and mentally transform it into a permanent disaster. A bad day becomes a bad life. A mistake becomes evidence of incompetence. A delay becomes proof that success will never arrive. These conclusions are rarely accurate. Strong thinkers remain objective. They focus on facts rather than assumptions. They evaluate situations clearly. They avoid adding unnecessary emotional weight to challenges. This approach reduces suffering while improving decision-making. Perspective allows you to ask useful questions. What can I learn from this experience? What part of this situation can I influence? What action would improve my position? What lesson will help me in the future? These questions direct attention toward growth. Growth-focused thinking creates momentum. Momentum creates progress. Another lesson worth understanding is that discomfort and danger are not the same thing. Many people avoid opportunities simply because they feel uncomfortable. Public speaking may feel uncomfortable. Starting a business may feel uncomfortable. Learning a difficult skill may feel uncomfortable. Having an honest conversation may feel uncomfortable. Discomfort often accompanies growth. Avoiding every uncomfortable situation limits development. Mental toughness requires becoming familiar with temporary discomfort. It means accepting that meaningful progress sometimes involves uncertainty. It means recognizing that feeling challenged is not always a sign that something is wrong. Often it is evidence that you are expanding your capabilities. There is also tremendous value in learning to endure difficult periods without losing focus. Not every problem can be solved immediately. Some situations require patience. Some goals require long periods of effort before visible rewards appear. Some obstacles take time to overcome. The ability to remain committed during these periods separates those who continue growing from those who quit prematurely. Patience is not passive. Patience is active endurance. It is maintaining effort while results are still developing. It is remaining committed while circumstances are still improving. It is trusting the process long enough to allow progress to occur. Mental toughness also requires accepting uncertainty. Human beings naturally seek certainty. They want guarantees. They want clear outcomes. They want assurance that their effort will succeed. Life rarely provides these guarantees. Most worthwhile pursuits involve uncertainty. You may not know exactly how things will unfold. You may not know how long the journey will take. You may not know every challenge that lies ahead. Waiting for complete certainty often leads to inaction. Strong individuals move forward despite uncertainty. They make thoughtful decisions. They prepare carefully. Then they act. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is movement despite fear. The same principle applies to confidence. Many people believe confidence must come first. In reality, confidence often follows action. Each challenge you overcome becomes evidence. Each obstacle you navigate strengthens belief in your capabilities. Each difficult experience survived becomes proof that you can handle more than you once thought. Over time, this evidence accumulates. Your confidence becomes rooted in experience rather than hope. Mental toughness also grows when you stop viewing hardship as a personal attack. Life is not targeting you. Challenges are part of the human experience. Every successful person encounters obstacles. Every leader experiences criticism. Every entrepreneur experiences setbacks. Every athlete experiences losses. Every student experiences struggles. Every family faces difficulties. Difficulty is universal. Understanding this can reduce feelings of isolation. You are not uniquely unlucky. You are participating in the same reality that every person must navigate. The goal is not to avoid every challenge. The goal is to become stronger in your response to them. Another practical way to strengthen resilience is through preparation. Prepared individuals often experience less unnecessary stress. Preparation creates confidence. Preparation improves performance. Preparation increases adaptability. When possible, prepare before challenges arrive. Develop useful skills. Improve your physical health. Strengthen financial habits. Build strong relationships. Practice emotional control. These investments create stability during difficult periods. A strong foundation makes adversity easier to navigate. Mental toughness is also influenced by self-talk. The words you repeat internally shape perception. Constantly telling yourself that you cannot handle something weakens resolve. Constantly assuming failure increases hesitation. A more useful approach is realistic encouragement. Remind yourself of previous victories. Remind yourself of lessons learned. Remind yourself that difficult situations are temporary. Remind yourself that growth often occurs during uncomfortable seasons. This approach does not ignore reality. It strengthens your ability to face reality effectively. One of the greatest benefits of resilience is freedom. A resilient person is less controlled by circumstances. They are less dependent on perfect conditions. They are less vulnerable to temporary setbacks. Their stability comes from within. This inner stability creates confidence that external events cannot easily remove. Over time, you begin trusting your ability to adapt. You trust your ability to learn. You trust your ability to recover. You trust your ability to continue moving forward. That trust becomes one of your greatest strengths. The truth is that life will continue presenting challenges. Some will be small, others will test you deeply. You cannot control their arrival. You can influence your preparation. You can influence your mindset. You can influence your response. Every challenge contains an opportunity to strengthen something within yourself. Patience can become stronger. Wisdom can become deeper. Discipline can become more reliable. Character can become more resilient. Mental toughness is not created in moments of comfort. It is developed when circumstances become demanding and you choose not to surrender your standards. It is developed when progress feels slow and you continue moving. It is developed when obstacles appear and you refuse to stop growing. The strongest minds are not built overnight. They are built challenge by challenge, decision by decision, response by response, day by day. Eventually, you reach a point where difficulties no longer shake you as easily as they once did. Not because life became easier, because you became stronger. And that strength remains with you long after the challenge has passed. Chapter 6. Commit to improvement, even when nobody notices. One of the greatest tests of character happens in silence. Not when people are watching. Not when praise is available, not when recognition is guaranteed. The true test appears during the moments when nobody notices what you are doing and nobody seems to care about your progress. These moments reveal the reason behind your effort. Many people begin a journey with enthusiasm. They feel energized when others support them. They feel motivated when compliments arrive. They work hard when results are visible. They remain committed when people acknowledge their improvement. Then something changes. The attention disappears. The praise becomes rare. The results take longer than expected. The excitement fades. At that point, many people slow down or stop completely. Not because the goal lost value, because external validation was quietly fueling their commitment. There is nothing wrong with appreciation. Encouragement can be helpful. Support can be powerful. Recognition can boost confidence. The problem begins when your effort depends on those things. A person whose motivation relies entirely on outside approval becomes vulnerable. Their energy rises when attention arrives. Their energy falls when attention disappears. Their progress becomes controlled by circumstances they cannot fully manage. True growth requires a different approach. It requires developing the ability to continue improving even when nobody applauds. This ability creates a powerful advantage because most meaningful progress happens before anyone notices it. A tree grows underground before people admire its height. A skill develops long before others recognize mastery. Knowledge accumulates quietly before expertise becomes obvious. Character strengthens internally before confidence becomes visible. The most important stages of growth are often invisible. Unfortunately, many people become discouraged during this stage. They expect immediate evidence that their effort is working. They expect quick acknowledgement. They expect visible rewards. When those rewards fail to appear, they begin questioning the process. Yet hidden progress is still progress. Some improvements take time to reveal themselves. Think about learning a new language. For weeks or months, the improvement may seem small. Vocabulary grows gradually. Understanding develops little by little. Then one day, conversations become easier. The progress was happening the entire time, even when it was difficult to see. The same principle applies to nearly every area of life. Financial improvement develops through repeated good decisions. Physical fitness develops through consistent training. Professional growth develops through accumulated experience. Emotional maturity develops through repeated self-reflection. These changes often occur beneath the surface before they become obvious. Patience becomes essential. Patience is not passive waiting. Patience is continued effort without immediate reward. It is maintaining commitment while outcomes are still forming. It is trusting your actions enough to continue investing in them. This mindset becomes easier when you stop measuring your worth through external recognition. Many people unknowingly place their confidence in the hands of others. They feel valuable when praised. They feel discouraged when ignored. They feel successful when noticed. They feel uncertain when overlooked. This creates instability because other people cannot consistently provide validation. People are busy with their own concerns. They are focused on their own responsibilities. They are often unaware of the effort taking place in your life. Their lack of attention does not reduce the importance of your progress. Your improvement remains valuable even when nobody comments on it. Your growth remains meaningful even when nobody recognizes it. Your effort remains worthwhile even when nobody celebrates it. This realization creates independence. You stop chasing approval. You stop performing for attention. You begin working for a deeper reason. You work because improvement matters. You work because growth benefits your future. You work because becoming stronger creates opportunities. You work because excellence is worth pursuing. This shift changes everything. When your purpose becomes internal rather than external, your consistency improves. You become less affected by public opinion. You become less distracted by comparison. You become more focused on the process itself. Comparison is another obstacle that often appears during personal growth. Modern life provides endless opportunities to compare yourself with others. People compare achievements. People compare income. People compare appearance. People compare recognition. People compare progress. This habit creates unnecessary frustration. Comparison often ignores important context. You rarely see the full picture of another person's life. You see selected moments. You see visible outcomes. You rarely see the years of effort that created those outcomes. You rarely see the setbacks. You rarely see the sacrifices. You rarely see the challenges. Comparing your entire journey to someone else's highlight moments creates distorted thinking. A more productive approach is comparing yourself to your previous self. Are you learning more than before? Are you managing challenges better than before? Are you making wiser decisions than before? Are you becoming more disciplined than before? These questions focus attention where it belongs. On personal growth. Growth is not a competition. Growth is a commitment. It is a commitment to becoming slightly better over time. Another important lesson involves understanding delayed rewards. Many valuable outcomes require extended periods of effort before producing visible benefits. This reality discourages people who expect immediate feedback. Consider a person saving money. The first deposits may seem insignificant. The account may grow slowly. The rewards may feel distant. Yet consistent contributions eventually create meaningful results. The same pattern exists in learning. The same pattern exists in health. The same pattern exists in career development. The same pattern exists in character building. Small actions accumulate. The challenge is remaining committed while accumulation is taking place. This is where many people quit, not because they lack ability, because they become impatient. Patience and persistence often matter more than natural talent. An average person who remains committed for years can achieve extraordinary improvement. A talented person who constantly quits often struggles to realize potential. Consistency creates separation over time. Another powerful practice is learning to celebrate private victories. Many people only celebrate major achievements. They overlook important milestones. They ignore meaningful progress. They dismiss small improvements. This mindset can make growth feel frustrating. Recognizing private victories strengthens motivation. Completing a difficult task matters. Maintaining a positive habit matters. Improving your attitude matters. Learning something useful matters. Managing emotions effectively matters. These accomplishments deserve acknowledgement even when nobody else sees them. Private victories build self-respect. Self-respect strengthens confidence. Confidence supports continued growth. Another benefit of working without recognition is that it develops authenticity. You begin acting according to values rather than appearances. Your behavior becomes less dependent on observation. You make good decisions because they are right, not because they are visible. This distinction is important. Character reveals itself when attention disappears. Anyone can perform well briefly when rewards are immediate. Sustained integrity requires something deeper. It requires commitment to principles. It requires alignment between actions and values. It requires personal standards that remain active regardless of circumstances. Strong personal standards create stability. They provide guidance when emotions fluctuate. They provide direction when motivation decreases. They create consistency during uncertain periods. A person with strong standards does not constantly negotiate with themselves. They know what is expected. They know what matters. They know how they want to behave. This clarity reduces confusion. It strengthens decision-making. It simplifies progress. There will be periods when your efforts seem unnoticed. You may work hard while receiving little recognition. You may improve quietly while others overlook your progress. You may make sacrifices that nobody fully understands. Do not interpret these moments as evidence that your effort lacks value. Often these moments are building something important. Strength develops in private. Wisdom develops in private. Discipline develops in private. Confidence develops in private. Resilience develops in private. Many of the qualities that shape a remarkable life are formed away from public attention. When success eventually becomes visible, people often notice the outcome. They rarely see the years that created it. They see the result. They do not see the preparation. They see the achievement. They do not see the repetition. They see the confidence. They do not see the countless moments of practice. This hidden work matters. In many ways, it matters more than the visible reward, because hidden work changes who you become. Achievements can come and go. Character remains. Skills remain. Knowledge remains, discipline remains. These qualities continue serving you long after a specific accomplishment has passed. That is why commitment to improvement should never depend solely on recognition. Recognition is temporary, growth is lasting, attention shifts, character endures, public opinion changes, personal development remains valuable. There may come a day when people finally notice your progress. They may admire your discipline. They may respect your achievements. They may praise your success. Accept appreciation with gratitude, but never forget where the transformation truly happened. It happened during ordinary days. It happened during quiet mornings. It happened during difficult evenings. It happened when nobody was watching. It happened when nobody was applauding. It happened when you chose growth over comfort. It happened when you continued despite a lack of recognition. Those unseen moments shaped your future. Those private decisions built your character. Those invisible efforts created visible results. The ability to improve without attention is one of the most powerful qualities you can develop. Because once you no longer require recognition to continue growing, very little can stop your progress. You become self-directed, you become resilient, you become dependable, you become focused on what truly matters. And when that happens, your commitment no longer depends on applause, it depends on purpose. Purpose lasts far longer than praise ever will. Chapter 7. Master your time and protect valuable hours. Every person on earth receives the same 24 hours each day. Wealth does not change it. Status does not change it. Education does not change it. Talent does not change it. No matter who you are, the day begins with the same amount of time available. Yet the difference between one life and another can become enormous. Some people use those hours to build skills, strengthen relationships, improve their health, and create opportunities. Others watch months disappear without understanding where the time went. This is why learning to manage time is not simply a productivity skill, it is a life skill. The way you use your hours shapes the quality of your future. Time is unique because it cannot be recovered. Money can be earned again. Lost possessions can often be replaced. Mistakes can be corrected. Time moves in only one direction. Once a day is finished, it becomes part of your history. This truth can feel uncomfortable, but it can also be incredibly motivating. It reminds you that every day matters. Many people assume they need more time when what they actually need is better attention. They look at successful individuals and imagine those people somehow found extra hours. In reality, successful people often become effective because they protect the hours they already have. Protection is important because modern life constantly competes for your attention. Messages arrive throughout the day. Notifications demand immediate responses. Entertainment is available at every moment. Distractions appear endlessly. Without realizing it, many people spend large portions of their lives reacting instead of acting. They begin the day with intentions. Then interruptions take control. Hours disappear. Important work remains unfinished. The cycle repeats. Eventually, frustration develops because effort feels disconnected from results. One of the first steps toward mastering time is becoming aware of where your hours actually go. Most people underestimate how much time they lose. A few minutes here, a few minutes there, an unnecessary distraction, a delay that becomes much longer than expected, a task that could have been completed immediately but was postponed. These moments seem insignificant individually. Together they become substantial. Awareness creates clarity. Clarity creates control. Spend a week paying close attention to how your time is used. Notice what activities move your life forward. Notice what activities consume time without creating value. Notice where energy is invested. Notice where energy is wasted. This exercise often reveals surprising patterns. Many people discover they have more available time than they originally believed. The issue was never a complete lack of time. The issue was how that time was being spent. Another important lesson is understanding the difference between activity and progress. A person can remain busy all day and still move very little closer to their goals. Constant activity often creates the illusion of productivity. Progress requires intention. Progress requires focus. Progress requires directing effort toward meaningful outcomes. Imagine filling an entire day with minor tasks while neglecting the one responsibility that could create significant improvement. The day feels productive because movement occurred, yet meaningful advancement remains absent. This is why priorities matter. Not every task deserves equal importance. Some activities create far greater impact than others. Identifying those activities can transform results. At the beginning of each day, ask yourself a simple question. What actions would make today successful? Not what would make today busy. What would make today valuable? The answer often involves a small number of important responsibilities. Protect those responsibilities carefully. Schedule them intentionally. Treat them as non-negotiable appointments with your future. Many people leave important work until they have extra time. Extra time rarely appears. Life continues presenting responsibilities. New demands emerge. Unexpected situations occur. Waiting for a perfect opening often leads to delay. Important work deserves a place in your schedule before less important activities claim your attention. Another challenge involves learning how to say no. Many people struggle with this because they want to be helpful, they want to avoid disappointing others, they want to remain available. These intentions are understandable. However, every commitment requires time. Every obligation occupies space within your day. When too many commitments accumulate, important priorities suffer. Protecting your time sometimes requires declining opportunities that do not align with your goals. This does not mean becoming selfish. It means becoming intentional. Each yes carries a hidden cost. That cost is the time you can no longer spend elsewhere. Wise decisions require understanding those trade-offs. Time management is ultimately decision management. Every hour reflects choices. Some choices strengthen your future. Others weaken it. Some choices create momentum. Others create delay. Learning to evaluate these decisions carefully improves every area of life. Energy management is equally important. Not all hours feel the same. Most people experience periods of higher focus and periods of lower focus. Understanding your natural patterns can increase effectiveness. Notice when your concentration feels strongest. Notice when your mind feels sharpest. Use those periods for demanding tasks. Reserve less demanding activities for times when energy naturally decreases. This approach allows you to work with your strengths instead of fighting against them. Another common mistake is assuming productivity requires constant effort. Many people push themselves without adequate rest. Eventually, performance declines, attention weakens, motivation suffers, decision-making becomes less effective. Rest is not the enemy of achievement. Rest supports achievement. Recovery allows the mind to remain effective over long periods. The goal is not endless activity. The goal is sustainable effectiveness. A well-rested mind often accomplishes more in one focused hour than an exhausted mind accomplishes in several. Protecting time also means protecting concentration. Concentration is becoming increasingly valuable because distractions are everywhere. A person who can focus deeply possesses a significant advantage. Deep focus allows complex problems to be solved. It allows quality work to be produced. It allows learning to occur more efficiently. Unfortunately, concentration weakens when attention constantly shifts. Each interruption creates a cost. Each distraction requires mental adjustment. Each unnecessary switch reduces momentum. Creating periods of uninterrupted focus can dramatically improve productivity. Even a short period of concentrated effort can produce remarkable results. Many people underestimate how much progress can be made when attention remains fully engaged. Another valuable habit involves finishing tasks before moving to the next responsibility whenever possible. Constantly jumping between unfinished activities creates mental clutter. The mind continues thinking about incomplete work. Energy becomes scattered. Completion creates clarity. Completion creates confidence. Completion reduces mental burden. There is a unique satisfaction that comes from finishing what you started. That satisfaction strengthens momentum. Momentum makes future action easier. Time also becomes more valuable when connected to purpose. Without purpose, hours are easily wasted. Without direction, days blend together. Purpose creates meaning. Purpose provides guidance. Purpose helps determine where attention belongs. When you understand what matters most, decisions become easier. You become less vulnerable to distractions. You become more selective about commitments. You become more deliberate with your schedule. Many people assume major achievements require dramatic changes. Often, significant progress comes from improving how ordinary days are used. A single productive hour each day becomes 7 productive hours each week. Those hours accumulate. Weeks become months. Months become years. Small improvements in daily behavior eventually create remarkable outcomes. Another useful practice involves planning tomorrow before today ends. A few minutes of preparation can create substantial benefits. Identify priorities. Organize responsibilities. Clarify important actions. Beginning the next day with direction reduces confusion. It eliminates unnecessary decision-making. It allows momentum to begin immediately. Preparation is a form of respect for your future self. It makes success easier. Time mastery also requires accepting that perfection is impossible. Unexpected events will occur. Schedules will occasionally change. Plans will require adjustment. Flexibility remains important. The objective is not controlling every minute. The objective is ensuring that your most valuable priorities receive attention consistently. Progress rarely requires perfect execution. It requires repeated effort over long periods. Many people become discouraged after a single unproductive day. They assume momentum has been lost. They assume failure has occurred. One day does not define your future. The important question is what happens next. Return to productive habits quickly. Resume important work. Reconnect with priorities. Consistency matters more than occasional perfection. There is another truth worth remembering. Every commitment you make is a statement about what matters to you. How you spend your time reveals priorities more accurately than words. People often claim certain goals are important. Their schedules sometimes reveal different priorities. Examine your calendar honestly. Examine your routines honestly. Do your actions reflect what you say matters? If not, adjustments may be necessary. Alignment between priorities and behavior creates progress. The years pass whether you use them wisely or not. The days move forward regardless of your plans. This reality should not create fear. It should create urgency. Not panic, not pressure. Purposeful urgency. The understanding that today matters. The understanding that this hour matters. The understanding that your future is being shaped right now through the choices you make. Every focused hour becomes an investment. Every intentional decision becomes a building block. Every productive day strengthens momentum. Mastering time is not about squeezing more activity into your schedule. It is about directing your attention toward what truly matters. It is about protecting your hours from unnecessary waste. It is about ensuring that your days reflect your values. Because when you learn to respect your time, you begin respecting your potential. And when you consistently protect your valuable hours, you give yourself the opportunity to build a life that reflects your highest goals rather than your lowest distractions. The future you want is built one day at a time, and every day is built 1 hour at a time. Guard those hours carefully. They are far more valuable than most people realize. Chapter 8. Push beyond comfort and expand personal limits. Human beings naturally seek comfort. Comfort feels safe. Comfort feels familiar. Comfort reduces uncertainty. It allows daily life to become predictable and manageable. There is nothing wrong with enjoying moments of peace or appreciating stability. The problem begins when comfort becomes a permanent destination rather than a temporary place to rest. Many dreams remain unrealized because people become attached to what feels familiar. They stay in situations that no longer help them grow. They repeat routines that no longer challenge them. They continue operating far below their potential because stepping into the unknown feels uncomfortable. Yet growth has always required movement beyond what is familiar. Every meaningful improvement in life begins with entering territory you have not fully mastered. A child learns to walk by attempting something difficult. A student develops knowledge by confronting subjects they do not yet understand. A professional advances by accepting responsibilities that stretch existing abilities. A leader grows by making decisions under pressure. Expansion occurs when demands increase. Potential reveals itself when limitations are challenged. One of the biggest misconceptions about personal growth is the belief that confidence must arrive before action. Many people wait until they feel completely prepared. They wait until fear disappears. They wait until doubt vanishes. They wait until certainty arrives. Unfortunately, those conditions rarely appear in advance. Confidence often emerges after repeated action. A person becomes comfortable speaking in front of others by speaking in front of others. A person becomes skilled at solving problems by solving problems. A person becomes capable of handling pressure by experiencing pressure. Experience creates familiarity. Familiarity reduces uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty increases confidence. This process cannot be skipped. Many opportunities remain out of reach because people expect confidence before experience. The order is usually reversed. Experience comes first. Confidence follows. Another obstacle to growth is the fear of failure. This fear prevents countless people from pursuing goals that could transform their lives. They imagine embarrassment. They imagine mistakes. They imagine criticism. They imagine disappointing outcomes. As a result, they avoid taking action altogether. The irony is that avoiding challenges often creates a different kind of disappointment. The disappointment of unrealized potential. The disappointment of wondering what might have happened. The disappointment of remaining in the same place year after year. Failure is often viewed incorrectly. Many people treat failure as a final judgment. In reality, failure is frequently information. It reveals weaknesses. It exposes gaps in preparation. It highlights areas requiring improvement. It provides lessons that success sometimes cannot teach. People who continually expand their limits develop a healthier relationship with mistakes. They do not enjoy mistakes. They do not seek mistakes. They simply understand that mistakes are often part of learning. This understanding allows them to continue moving forward. Growth requires experimentation. Experimentation involves uncertainty. Uncertainty occasionally produces setbacks. That is normal. The objective is not avoiding every mistake. The objective is learning from every experience. Another reason people remain within comfortable boundaries is because they underestimate their capacity. Many individuals carry outdated beliefs about themselves. Perhaps they struggled in the past. Perhaps they received criticism. Perhaps they experienced disappointment. Over time, these experiences shaped their self-image. They begin defining themselves by previous limitations. They tell themselves certain goals are unrealistic. They convince themselves they are not capable enough. They assume others possess qualities they lack. Yet human potential is rarely fixed. Skills can improve. Knowledge can expand. Confidence can grow. Habits can change. Performance can increase. The person you are today does not represent the final version of yourself. This realization should be exciting. It means growth remains available. It means improvement remains possible. It means your future can differ significantly from your past. One practical way to expand personal limits is through deliberate challenges. Choose activities that stretch your abilities slightly beyond your current comfort level. Not impossible challenges, not reckless decisions, purposeful challenges. Challenges that require effort. Challenges that require learning. Challenges that require adaptation. For example, someone who avoids public speaking might begin by speaking in small groups. Someone who wants greater physical fitness might increase training intensity gradually. Someone pursuing professional growth might volunteer for responsibilities that demand new skills. Small expansions create larger possibilities. Each challenge completed successfully changes perception. You begin seeing yourself differently. You collect evidence of capability. You discover strengths that previously remained hidden. Evidence is powerful. Many people rely on opinions when evaluating themselves. A stronger approach is relying on evidence. Evidence created through action carries tremendous weight. Every challenge overcome becomes proof. Every difficult situation navigated becomes proof. Every fear confronted becomes proof. Over time, these experiences reshape identity. You stop viewing yourself as someone who avoids challenges. You begin viewing yourself as someone who handles challenges. This shift creates momentum. Momentum encourages further growth. Another important lesson involves understanding the cost of staying comfortable for too long. Comfort often appears harmless because its consequences arrive slowly. A person delays learning new skills. Nothing dramatic happens immediately. A person avoids difficult conversations. Life continues temporarily. A person postpones important goals. Weeks pass without obvious consequences. The danger is gradual stagnation. Improvement slows. Opportunities decrease. Potential remains unused. Years later, the accumulated cost becomes visible. Regret often develops when people realize they spent too much time protecting comfort and too little time pursuing growth. Regret rarely comes from effort. Regret often comes from inaction. It comes from opportunities ignored. It comes from risks never taken. It comes from possibilities left unexplored. This is why expanding your limits matters. It protects against the quiet erosion of potential. Another challenge worth discussing is criticism. Whenever people pursue ambitious goals, they may encounter criticism. Some criticism is constructive. Some criticism is uninformed. Some criticism comes from people projecting their own fears. Learning to handle criticism effectively is essential. If every negative opinion controls your decisions, growth becomes difficult. Strong individuals evaluate feedback carefully. Useful feedback becomes information. Unhelpful criticism becomes background noise. Neither praise nor criticism should completely determine your direction. Your values should guide your decisions. Your goals should guide your effort. Your standards should guide your behavior. External opinions should not become the primary source of direction. Another aspect of personal expansion involves embracing responsibility. Greater opportunities often require greater responsibility. Greater influence often requires greater accountability. Greater success often requires greater discipline. Many people desire the rewards associated with growth while avoiding the responsibilities that accompany it. The two cannot be separated. Every new level demands something from you. More focus, more patience, more preparation, more maturity, more resilience. The willingness to accept these demands creates opportunity. Avoiding them creates limitation. There is also tremendous value in becoming comfortable with temporary uncertainty. Growth often places you in situations where outcomes are not guaranteed. A new project may succeed or fail. A new skill may require significant effort. A new opportunity may involve risk. This uncertainty can feel uncomfortable, yet many rewarding experiences exist on the other side of uncertainty. The willingness to proceed despite incomplete information often distinguishes those who advance from those who remain stationary. This does not mean acting recklessly. It means understanding that certainty is not always available. Waiting forever for complete assurance often becomes another form of avoidance. Life rewards thoughtful action, not endless hesitation. As you continue expanding personal limits, you may notice something interesting. Challenges that once seemed intimidating begin feeling manageable. Tasks that once created anxiety become routine. Responsibilities that once felt overwhelming become familiar. This transformation happens because capability increases through exposure. The mind adapts. Skills develop. Perspective changes. The challenge did not necessarily become smaller. You became stronger. This is one of the most rewarding aspects of growth. The realization that previous limits were often temporary. Many barriers exist more in perception than reality. Once confronted, they lose much of their power. You begin discovering that your capacity extends further than you originally believed. The process continues throughout life. There is always another skill to develop, another lesson to learn, another challenge to face, another level of growth available. The objective is not reaching a point where no further growth is necessary. The objective is maintaining a mindset that welcomes continued improvement, a mindset that remains curious, a mindset that remains adaptable, a mindset that remains willing to learn. Such a mindset creates lifelong progress. The most fulfilled individuals are rarely those who remained within narrow boundaries. They are often those who continually expanded their capabilities. They challenged assumptions. They developed new skills. They explored possibilities. They accepted discomfort as part of growth. They refused to let fear make important decisions for them. Their lives became larger because their willingness to grow became larger. The same opportunity exists for you. Every day presents choices. Remain where everything feels predictable, or take one step beyond what feels comfortable. Learn something new. Develop a skill. Accept a challenge. Pursue an opportunity. Start a conversation. Take responsibility for something greater. The step may seem small. Its impact may be significant, because growth rarely arrives through comfort alone. Growth arrives when you willingly expand beyond familiar limits. Each time you do, your world becomes larger. Your abilities become stronger. Your confidence becomes deeper. Your opportunities become greater. And most importantly, you discover that you are capable of far more than you once believed. Chapter 9. Execute your goals with unwavering daily persistence. A goal by itself changes nothing. A notebook filled with plans changes nothing. A vision board changes nothing. A promise changes nothing. A decision only begins to matter when it is followed by execution. This truth separates dreams from reality. Every person has ambitions. Every person imagines a better future in some area of life. People want greater financial stability. They want stronger relationships. They want better health. They want more freedom. They want more confidence. They want more achievement. The desire is common. The execution is rare. Many people spend years collecting ideas while producing very little action. They read books, they watch videos, they gather information, they create plans, they talk about what they hope to accomplish. Then weeks pass, months pass, sometimes years pass. The goal remains where it started, because information alone does not create progress. Knowledge becomes valuable when it influences behavior. A strategy becomes valuable when it is applied. A goal becomes valuable when daily action begins supporting it. Execution is the bridge between intention and achievement. Without that bridge, goals remain wishes. One reason people struggle with execution is that they become fascinated with the outcome while neglecting the process. They think constantly about reaching the destination. They imagine success. They picture the reward. They visualize the result. There is nothing wrong with having a vision. The problem occurs when the vision receives more attention than the work required to achieve it. A mountain is climbed one step at a time. A business is built one decision at a time. A skill is developed one practice session at a time. A strong reputation is built one action at a time. The future is always created through present behavior. Persistent action requires a shift in focus. Instead of becoming obsessed with the final result, learn to become committed to the daily process. The process is where progress lives. The process is where growth occurs. The process is where capability develops. Results appear later. Process comes first. This understanding removes unnecessary pressure. A person trying to lose a significant amount of weight may feel overwhelmed by the size of the goal. The goal feels distant. The challenge feels enormous. Yet today's responsibility may be simple. Choose better meals. Move the body. Drink more water. Maintain consistency. The goal becomes manageable when attention shifts to today's actions. The same principle applies everywhere. A writer does not complete a book in one day. A student does not master a subject in one night. An entrepreneur does not build a successful company in a week. Large outcomes are created through accumulated effort. When people understand this, persistence becomes easier. They stop demanding immediate transformation. They begin respecting gradual progress. Another challenge to execution is emotional inconsistency. Many individuals allow their productivity to depend on how they feel. When excitement is present, they work. When excitement disappears, they slow down. When confidence is strong, they move forward. When confidence weakens, they hesitate. This creates unstable results because emotions naturally fluctuate. Daily persistence requires a deeper foundation. It requires commitment. Commitment remains active regardless of temporary feelings. Commitment does not ask whether today feels convenient. Commitment asks whether the task remains important. If the answer is yes, action continues. This approach creates reliability. Reliability creates momentum. Momentum creates achievement. Many people underestimate the power of momentum. A train moving at full speed carries enormous force. The hardest part is often getting it moving. Human behavior works similarly. Starting creates resistance. Continuing becomes easier. Each completed action increases the likelihood of another productive action. Each productive day strengthens positive habits. Each positive habit reduces future resistance. Momentum turns effort into routine. Routine turns discipline into identity. Eventually, productive behavior becomes part of who you are. Another important lesson is learning to keep promises made to yourself. Most people understand the value of honoring commitments to others. Far fewer recognize the importance of honoring personal commitments. When you repeatedly abandon your own goals, something subtle begins happening. Self-trust weakens. Your mind starts questioning whether your decisions truly matter. Future commitments lose credibility. Excitement remains. Follow-through disappears. The opposite process is equally powerful. Every time you do what you said you would do, self-respect grows. You become more dependable in your own eyes. You begin seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This identity strengthens future execution. The relationship you have with yourself matters. Trust is built through consistency. Trust is strengthened through evidence. Every completed responsibility becomes evidence. Persistence also requires adaptability. Many people confuse persistence with stubbornness. Persistence means staying committed to the goal. It does not mean refusing to adjust the approach. Circumstances change, new information appears, unexpected obstacles emerge. Wise individuals adapt while maintaining direction. If one method fails, they test another. If one strategy produces poor results, they improve it. They remain flexible in tactics while remaining firm in purpose. This balance prevents discouragement. A temporary setback does not require abandoning the mission. It may simply require adjusting the method. Another reason people stop pursuing goals is because progress often arrives slower than expected. Human beings naturally want quick results. They want proof that their effort is working. They want visible improvement. They want immediate rewards. Reality frequently operates on a different timeline. Many valuable outcomes require extended investment before noticeable returns appear. This delay creates frustration for those who expect rapid transformation. Patience becomes essential, not passive waiting. Active persistence, the willingness to continue investing effort before rewards become visible. Think about planting a tree. The person planting it understands that growth requires time. They do not dig it up every week to check whether roots are developing. They continue providing water. They continue caring for it. They trust the process. Goals require a similar mindset. Daily effort may not produce dramatic results immediately, yet every productive action contributes to future outcomes. Another obstacle is perfectionism. Perfectionism often disguises itself as high standards. In reality, it frequently becomes a barrier to execution. Some people delay action because they want ideal conditions. They want perfect plans. They want flawless performance. They want certainty. As a result, they remain inactive. Progress does not require perfection. Progress requires movement. A completed effort with imperfections creates more value than an ideal effort that never begins. Action generates feedback. Feedback creates learning. Learning improves performance. Waiting for perfection delays learning. Execution accelerates learning. The individuals who improve rapidly are often those willing to begin before everything feels perfect. They understand that improvement comes through engagement. Another powerful principle involves measuring effort as well as outcomes. Many people judge themselves solely by results. This creates frustration because results are not always immediately controllable. Effort is controllable. Preparation is controllable. Focus is controllable. Consistency is controllable. By measuring behaviors instead of only outcomes, motivation becomes more sustainable. You can succeed today by honoring your process. You can succeed today by completing important actions. You can succeed today by maintaining standards. Future results become more likely when today's behavior is strong. Persistence also requires protecting your environment. The people around you influence your expectations. The information you consume influences your thinking. The habits surrounding you influence your behavior. A supportive environment makes consistent action easier. An unhealthy environment creates unnecessary resistance. Pay attention to influences. Choose environments that support growth. Choose relationships that encourage responsibility. Choose inputs that strengthen focus. Your surroundings matter more than many people realize. There will be moments when enthusiasm disappears entirely. There will be mornings when energy feels low. There will be seasons when progress seems invisible. These moments test commitment. Anyone can work when everything feels exciting. Persistence reveals itself when excitement fades. Persistence appears when results are delayed. Persistence appears when challenges increase. Persistence appears when others quit. This is where extraordinary outcomes begin separating from ordinary outcomes. Not through dramatic bursts of effort, through sustained execution, through repeated action, through consistency maintained over time. Many people look for secret advantages. They search for hidden strategies. They hope to discover shortcuts. Yet some of the most powerful advantages are surprisingly simple. Show up consistently, finish important work, maintain focus, continue learning, improve gradually, repeat. These actions seem ordinary. Their cumulative impact becomes extraordinary. Years from now, the quality of your life will reflect thousands of decisions made during ordinary days. It will reflect habits practiced repeatedly. It will reflect standards maintained consistently. It will reflect actions taken when nobody else was paying attention. Success rarely arrives because of one perfect moment. It usually emerges from a long series of productive choices. Each choice may appear small. Each choice may seem insignificant. Together, they create transformation. This is why daily persistence matters. A single productive day can improve your direction. A productive month can improve your confidence. A productive year can improve your circumstances. Several productive years can completely alter your future. Execution creates possibility. Persistence turns possibility into reality. Every morning presents another opportunity to act, another opportunity to move forward, another opportunity to strengthen habits, another opportunity to invest in your future. The question is never whether goals matter. The question is whether your actions reflect those goals. When action aligns with purpose day after day, progress becomes inevitable. It may not arrive instantly. It may not always be obvious. It may not follow your preferred timeline, but it will come, because unwavering daily persistence has a remarkable ability to accomplish what occasional motivation never can. And in the end, the people who achieve meaningful goals are often not the most talented. They are the people who continued executing long after others stopped. Chapter 10. Create lasting success through lifelong hard work. At some point in life, every person must decide what kind of future they want to build, not what kind of future they wish for, not what kind of future they hope appears through luck, not what kind of future they expect someone else to create for them. The real question is much deeper. What kind of future are you willing to work for year after year, even when the process becomes demanding? This question matters because lasting success is different from temporary success. Temporary success can happen quickly. Temporary success can appear unexpectedly. Temporary success can be created through favorable circumstances. Lasting success follows a different path. It is built slowly. It is maintained intentionally. It requires character strong enough to support achievement over long periods of time. Many people focus heavily on reaching success. Far fewer focus on sustaining it. Reaching a destination is one challenge. Remaining there is another. Someone may achieve financial progress and later lose it through poor decisions. Someone may develop valuable skills and later stop learning. Someone may build strong habits and later abandon them. Someone may reach an important goal and then become complacent. The lesson is simple. Success is not an event. Success is a practice. It is something that must be maintained through continued effort and continued growth. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that hard work has an expiration date. They imagine a future moment when effort will no longer be necessary. They picture reaching a certain milestone and finally being finished. Life rarely works this way. Growth remains necessary. Learning remains necessary. Adaptation remains necessary. Improvement remains necessary. The world changes continuously. Industries change, technology changes, markets change, opportunities change, challenges change. People who continue developing themselves remain valuable regardless of changing conditions. People who stop growing often find themselves struggling to keep pace. This is why lifelong hard work is not a punishment. It is an investment in your abilities, an investment in your future, an investment in your potential. Many people hear the phrase hard work and immediately think of exhaustion. They imagine endless effort without enjoyment. They imagine constant struggle. They imagine sacrificing everything. That is not the type of hard work that creates lasting success. Meaningful hard work involves focused effort directed toward worthwhile goals. It involves using your energy intelligently. It involves developing skills that increase your effectiveness. It involves creating habits that produce consistent value. It involves improving your ability to contribute. When effort is connected to purpose, work takes on a different meaning. Purpose transforms effort into something meaningful. Without purpose, even simple tasks can feel burdensome. With purpose, difficult tasks become easier to endure. This is why understanding your reasons matters. Why do you want to improve? Why do you want to grow? Why do you want to achieve your goals? A strong reason provides strength during difficult periods. It provides direction during uncertain moments. It reminds you why continued effort matters. Another important lesson is understanding that success leaves clues. People often search for complicated answers when simple principles create extraordinary results. Consider individuals who achieve lasting success in different fields. Their professions may differ, their backgrounds may differ, their personalities may differ. Yet certain qualities often appear repeatedly. They remain curious, they continue learning, they accept responsibility, they stay adaptable, they maintain discipline, they show persistence, they continue improving long after achieving initial success. These qualities create durability. Durability is what separates temporary achievement from lasting achievement. One challenge that frequently appears after success is comfort. Comfort can become dangerous when it creates complacency. A person reaches a goal and stops improving. They achieve a certain level of performance and stop learning. They experience progress and stop challenging themselves. Gradually, their growth slows, their edge disappears, their potential remains underdeveloped. The most successful individuals understand that achievement is not a signal to stop growing. Achievement is often evidence that continued growth is working. Rather than becoming complacent, they become more committed to development. They remain students, they remain learners, they remain willing to improve. This mindset keeps them moving forward. Another principle worth understanding is that success should not be measured solely by external results. Society often defines success through visible achievements: income, status, recognition, possessions. These things can be meaningful, yet they provide an incomplete picture. A person may achieve impressive external results while neglecting important areas of life. True success is broader. It includes character, it includes integrity, it includes relationships, it includes contribution, it includes peace of mind, it includes becoming someone you respect. Lasting success requires balance. Neglecting important areas eventually creates problems. A healthy life is built through attention to multiple dimensions of growth. Professional growth matters. Personal growth matters. Emotional growth matters. Intellectual growth matters. The strongest foundation comes from developing the whole person. Another reality is that success often creates new challenges rather than eliminating challenges entirely. Many people assume achievement removes all problems. In reality, new opportunities create new responsibilities. Greater influence creates greater expectations. Larger goals create greater demands. The nature of challenges changes. The existence of challenges does not disappear. Understanding this prevents disappointment. Difficulties are not signs that success is failing. Difficulties are often signs that life continues requiring growth. The ability to embrace this reality creates resilience. You stop expecting an effortless future. You begin preparing for continued development. This perspective creates strength. One powerful habit of highly successful individuals is reflection. They regularly evaluate their actions. They examine their decisions. They identify areas for improvement. They learn from experience. Reflection accelerates growth because it transforms experience into wisdom. Many people accumulate experiences without extracting lessons. As a result, they repeat the same mistakes. Thoughtful reflection prevents this cycle. A few minutes of honest evaluation can produce valuable insights. What worked well? What needs improvement? What lesson should be carried forward? Questions like these create awareness. Awareness creates growth. Another aspect of lifelong success involves contribution. Many people focus entirely on what they can gain. A more powerful question is what value they can provide. People who consistently contribute tend to create opportunities. They solve problems. They help others. They improve systems. They create useful products. They share valuable knowledge. Contribution increases relevance. Relevance increases opportunity. The world often rewards those who create value for others. This principle remains true across many different fields. The more useful you become, the more opportunities often appear. Lifelong hard work is ultimately about becoming increasingly useful, more capable, more knowledgeable, more reliable, more effective. Another important lesson involves protecting standards. Standards determine behavior. Behavior determines outcomes. Many people establish strong standards during periods of motivation. The real test occurs during difficult periods. Can you maintain standards when progress feels slow? Can you maintain standards when nobody is watching? Can you maintain standards when challenges increase? Strong standards create consistency. Consistency creates trust. Trust creates opportunities. Opportunities create growth. The connection is powerful. Standards influence every area of life. Relationships improve when standards improve. Health improves when standards improve. Performance improves when standards improve. Character improves when standards improve. Never underestimate the influence of personal standards. There will be times when effort feels unnoticed. There will be periods when results arrive slowly. There will be moments when progress appears smaller than expected. During these moments, remember something important. Not all growth is immediately visible. A skill may be improving beneath the surface. Knowledge may be accumulating quietly. Character may be strengthening gradually. Patience becomes essential. Many valuable outcomes require time. The strongest trees do not grow overnight. The strongest reputations do not develop overnight. The strongest careers do not develop overnight. The strongest character does not develop overnight. Time and effort work together. When combined consistently, they produce remarkable outcomes. Another lesson worth carrying forward is that success should never become your identity. Your identity should remain rooted in values. Success can fluctuate. Circumstances can change. Markets can change. External conditions can change. Values provide stability. Integrity remains valuable regardless of circumstances. Honesty remains valuable regardless of circumstances. Responsibility remains valuable regardless of circumstances. Discipline remains valuable regardless of circumstances. When values become your foundation, success becomes more sustainable. The final truth is simple. Your future will not be determined by a single decision. It will be shaped by repeated choices made over years. The choice to continue learning, the choice to remain disciplined, the choice to improve your skills, the choice to maintain high standards, the choice to contribute value, the choice to stay committed when easier options appear. These choices accumulate. They shape reputation. They shape character. They shape opportunity. They shape destiny. Life rewards those who continue showing up. Not occasionally. Not only when conditions are favorable. Not only when excitement is high. But consistently, year after year, challenge after challenge, opportunity after opportunity. That is how lasting success is built. Not through shortcuts, not through luck alone, not through temporary bursts of effort, but through lifelong hard work, guided by purpose, strengthened by discipline, supported by character, and sustained by the commitment to keep growing no matter how much has already been achieved. The journey never truly ends. There is always another lesson to learn, another skill to develop, another way to improve, another opportunity to contribute. Embrace that reality. Because the people who create the most meaningful lives are rarely the people who stop growing. They are the people who keep building, keep learning, keep improving, keep contributing, and keep working long after others decide they have done enough. That commitment is what transforms success from a temporary achievement into a lasting legacy.